Hey, what's up YouTube? Trying out a different camera again today, so let me know what you think of the picture. Wearing the headphones because we're going to be doing some sound samples and I don't want them to go through the mic as well. Um, Other than that, you'll notice it's been a little while. Life got in the way of my hobbies, which includes making these videos for you guys. It happens, but gotta pay the bills and YouTube doesn't pay me anything. So, and I want to do a video a week at least. If sometimes it might be more, sometimes like this week it'll be less. Uh, but I also don't want to throw up videos that are just completely worthless. Anything that I put up, I'm hoping is going to have some kind of use to at least someone out there. But yeah, today what we're going to be doing is looking at and going over some amp sims. Uh, this isn't going to be a full tutorial, just a quick explanation of what they are, what you'd want to use them for, and then just compare a bunch of free ones that I found. Most of them I thought were quite useful, some of them a bit less, but all of them were usable tones, depending on what you want to do. It's going to be focusing a bit more on the high gain kind of end of things for metal. That's more or less what I play. But yeah, so let's not waste any more time, and we are just going to switch now, and you're going to be seeing my desktop, and we're just going to go from there. Hopefully this works. Alrighty, so now we're back. You're seeing my desktop and me down here in the bottom corner. What you're seeing is my audio software, in my case Sonar X2. I've used Cubase in the past, I've used GarageBand, I've used a couple of others. Sonar X2 is just the one I currently have. I bought this a couple of years ago when I switched from Mac to PC. But that's a completely different story that I might someday do a video as to why Macs just suck nowadays. Yep, so this is Sonar X2, and what I did is I took my guitar, in this case a PRS S2 single cut, and I plugged it in directly for direct recording. For those that don't know, what that means is you take one end of the cable, you plug it into your guitar normally, you take the other end of the cable and you plug it into your audio interface. Then in my case, like I said, Sonar X2, you can come in here and set up your source for the recording of the track. In my case, I set it to my audio interface, which in my case is a UR22 Mark II. As you can see right here, and the guitar was plugged into the right channel, so I selected the right channel. We don't want to record stereo because I was only using direct input, so there you have it. And then I just recorded the direct dry input signal, which you see right here, and we'll just give that a quick listen. Right, so enough of that. That's some nice little metal without any distortion. So then what I did is I took that track and copy pasted it across all these other tracks, and all of them have a different amp sim. For those not familiar with Sonar, this little box right here is where you would have your effects. In this case here, it's just amp sims. So the first track here is a amp sim by Nick Crow Lab, which is a 7170. Obviously it's a 5150 by Peavey. Legal reasons, licensing and all that, he called it a 7170. It's basically his version of a 5150. So all the amp sims I'm going to be showing you today are completely free. We'll put links down here somewhere in the description of the video towards download links for all of them. They're very small downloads, and like I said, they're all free. As far as I know, all of them have licensing agreements where you can use these to record. Just don't try and sell them on to someone else, and you should be fine legally speaking. But yeah, so this is the first one I'm showing you today. Again, Nick Crow Lab, the 7170. It's got the nice interface here, graphical interface, all the knobs you can play around with, and they all work. They will all change the sound. All of the sims pretty much I set the same way for the 3-band EQ. Some of these, like the real amps, have a have more than just the normal 3-band EQ. So in those cases, I might have played a bit more with the mids. In this case here, but most of them, basically what I did is the lows I put to 11, the highs I put to just above 1 o'clock, and then the mids, I tried to keep it about 1 o'clock, but it depends. Some of them had the split mids, which I played around with a bit more. The drive, the power amp volumes, the other knobs, switches, whatever is available is more what I played with. All of these, I gave myself a limit of about 5 minutes to play with. Get the best tone I could in that 5 minutes. If I could find a tone that I loved before the 5 minutes were up, that's what I went with. If the 5 minutes were up and I had not found anything that I was 100% satisfied with, I just went with what I could get within 5 minutes. I did this because just to not waste a bunch of time, basically, and to just show you guys what you can achieve quickly. Again, if you were actually recording this or using this in a real scenario, what you'd actually want to do is probably also get a cab sim. It depends. That's just what I do. In this case, I'm just showing you amp sims. I might make another video with cab sims, but for now, it's just amp sims. So this, like I said, is Nick Crow Lab. Again, free publicity for them, I guess. This is the 7170, which is, like I said, a clone of the PV5150. So let's just give that a listen. So there you have it. None of these I've EQ'd, none of these I've done anything with except for put the amp sim on and fiddle with the amp sim settings. Like I said, mostly the drive, the volume and such. Obviously you would, in normal recording, you'd be EQing this, you might add some more effects. That's not the point today, so there you have it. The only thing I've done to all these tracks is try to even out the volume so I'm not blasting one of these amp sims way louder than the other ones. Next up here we have the second one by Nick Crow Lab, the 8505, obviously PV6505. So let's just give this a listen. There you have it. That was the 8505. Next up is a different company, Poulet Amplifications. I got a pack of a bunch of their amp sims, so I figured I'd just go through all of them. This first one is quite obviously meant to be a Marshall kind of plexi tone, so let's just give that a listen. There you go. By the way, those riffs are just a bunch of the intro riffs for an In Flames song called Artifacts of the Black Rain off the Just Erase album. If you've not heard that album, I highly recommend it. Old In Flames was amazing. New In Flames, not so much. The next one is, again, still Poulet Amplifications. It's the LE456. It's meant to be, obviously from the looks of it, a Engel Powerball, Fireball kind of amp. So let's just listen to that. So there you have it. Next up, I don't think I need to tell you guys what this is meant to be. Hopefully any real guitarist would kind of see what this is right away. Obviously it's a Mesa Boogie rectifier. And yeah, so let's just give this a listen. And it helps if I unmute the track first, doesn't it? There you go. Not a bad little tone. The next two, I will be completely honest with you guys, I have no idea what these amps are supposed to be. But yeah, there you go. This is called the Legion. No idea what the amp is supposed to be, but here you go. There you have it. So that was the Legion, whatever that amp is supposed to be. The last one here by Poulain, I wasn't sure if I was going to include it or not. It's another one I have no idea what the amp is supposed to be. This is the one that honestly I had the most trouble actually getting a semi-decent tone out of. I ran out of time with the 5 minutes. This is the best I could get out of it, so here you go. There you have it. This last one I'm going to show you today is by Ignite Amps. It's called the Emissary. And to be honest with you, this thing is amazing, and I'm shocked that it's actually completely free. They do actually make this as a physical amp now, apparently, from Google searches. They got such positive feedback from plugins that they just went ahead and tried to replicate it as a physical amp. That's my understanding of what happened. This one is, like I said, very fully featured. It's got a clean channel. Some of them do. I'm not showing the clean channel today. I don't see why you'd ever want to really emulate a clean amp. I guess you might, but anyway. It's got, like I said, clean channel, lead channel. Both channels have an individual bright switch. The lead channel has a depth switch and a shape switch. It's got the low and high mids as separate EQs so it's basically a 4-band EQ. You've then also got a depth knob and a presence knob. And what I found out last night while I was playing with this is you have an arrow here that actually flips it so you can see the back of the amp. Most of this is just there for just show. None of these actually do much. The few settings that do actually do something, if you click here for the power tubes, you can switch between EL34, 6L6, KT88s, or just disable. I'm not sure why you'd ever want to disable the power tubes. It sounds weird. And then you can also, you've got the biased adjustments down here, which do actually work for the right tube, the left tube, and the common bias between the two tubes. I didn't play with this. The only thing I changed back here is I went from the the 6L6 to the EL34s. I just greatly preferred the EL34s to the 6L6. And yeah, so let's just give this a listen quickly. So there you have it. Again, these are all free. I'm going to put the links down in the description to download all of them if you're interested. They're very small downloads, and like I said, they're all free, and you're free to use them for recording as far as I know. Last few things before we switch back and wrap up this video. A couple of things you can do here. Actually, before we show you any more tips, just to prove to you guys that all you're hearing is literally that dry track and the amp sims, is we'll bring back here the 7170. Some of them have a power switch. When they don't, you can turn them off and on here in the effects section. So we'll just play this and I'll flip it back and forth and you'll see it is literally just the dry track with the amp sim. So here you go. So no trickery involved. All you were hearing this whole video is that one dry track that I copied across all the tracks, and just the amp sim. So a few last things before we wrap this up. Like I said, you can also get stuff like pedal sims. Again, like in physical pedals and amps, the order you're plugging these in does actually matter. So you want the Tube Screamer to be before the amp. We'll go ahead here and just do some settings, and we'll play the 8505 again with now a Tube Screamer. This is a Tube Screamer by TSC. Again, this is a free plugin. So we'll go ahead and play that, and I'll switch it on and off just to show you the subtlety of it. So it's not a major difference, but like in real life, it does make a slight difference if you're putting a Tube Screamer in front of the amp. Now I haven't balanced this for volume, but I'll show you anyway. Another thing you can do with amp sims is quite simply just record a track and then just copy paste it to another track in your recording software. Put a different amp sim on it so you can run, like I'll do right here, a Mesa Boogie with a Plexi, basically one over the other, to get both amp sounds at the same time. So you can combine sounds, come up with something. Again, that was not mixed. I just did that spur of the moment, so it probably didn't sound great, but it's just to give you guys an idea. So we'll wrap the video up now. All right, so why would you want to use amp sims like we just did? There's a few reasons. Maybe you don't have the budget to just mic up your amp. Maybe you just don't have the know-how. Maybe you want to be able to record pretty much silently. You can just direct input, put the amp sims in, wear some headphones, and no one's the wiser. The other thing I use it for is if I only have one amp here. I've got my Mesa Boogie. I thought about buying other amps, to be honest, but I just don't see the point when, for what I want to use it for, amp sims will get the job done. But what I will use it for is if, say, my brother is coming over and we want to jam. Like I said, I only have one amp. What I can do is direct input the second guitar into my computer, run the software you saw before, set it all up, cab sims, amp sims, whatever effects you want in there, and echo the track so that you can hear what you're playing while you're playing it, turn the volume up, and pipe it through my studio monitors, which you can't see right now, but are on either side of me. And there you go. It's like instantly having a second guitar amp. The only downside is obviously you can't switch effects as you go, so if you're pretty much stuck with what's there unless you want to quickly go and click a pedal on or off. Amp sims are great for if you're recording. You want to get your lead and main guitars as your actual amp, and you want a different tone for, say, a rhythm or say another lead, and you don't have access to another amp. You want to get that classic plexi tone and you can't afford a plexi. You want to get that Mesa Boogie tone, but you can't afford a Mesa Boogie. Amp sims, like you saw. Now what you saw today, what I showed you, was literally just direct input and the amp sim. On top of that, and I didn't show it, I might make another video explaining it and showing that, but you've got other plugins that will let you put on top of that a cabinet simulator. Even some more detailed where you have a cabinet simulator and you can choose the kind of mic that you want in front of that cab. Some are even more advanced than that and will let you kind of drag and drop that mic to get it exactly where you want it on the cabinet. One that I will be investigating, I've not used it personally, is Wall of Sound. My friend uses it, he quite likes it. There are other options, there's free options. I'm probably going to be investigating that in the near future. If I find anything interesting, I'll let you guys know and I might make another quick video. Hopefully this has been slightly helpful for some of you. I'll put the links to all the amp sims that I used in this video. Like I said, they're all free. Feel free to download them. All you need is an audio interface, some way to get your guitar plugged into your PC, and software that can run the VSTs. VSTs are the amp sim plugins. VSTs is any plugin, not just amp sims, but I'm just saying for this video's purposes, the VSTs were the amp sims. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.